Hello, everyone, and welcome to Discovering Libertyville. My name is David Wool, and I aim to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the businesses and organizations that shape our community and share the inspiring stories of the people who run them. Each episode, we'll sit down with a new guest and unveil their background, their experiences, and passions that drive them. Along the way, we'll explore the unique challenges and rewards of running a business or an organization in Libertyville and share some laughs and insights into the people behind them. Whether you're a lifetime resident of Libertyville or just curious about our town and the people that call it home, Discovering Libertyville is the perfect podcast for you. So thank you for joining us today and enjoy the show. My Charcuterie has the perfect boards, boxes, and grazing tables for any occasion. Get-togethers and parties of all sizes will be so much tastier when you bring their delicious charcuterie designs to the table. Their team uses only the very best ingredients to ensure creations that are always curated with the highest quality meats, cheeses, and produce. Imagine hosting a holiday celebration, corporate event, or dream wedding where everyone is blown away by the striking beauty and vibrant taste of the food. That's why they call it food artistry. For your next special event, visit My Charcuterie, located at 214 Peterson Road in Libertyville. Jan Leisure, Diamond Residential Mortgage, has been financing Libertyville homes from the same office at 533 North Milwaukee Avenue since 1999. You may also know Jan as a former teacher, or as a college instructor, or as a journalist, contributing editor to Mortgage Broker Magazine, Mortgage Originator Magazine, or the money-saving super saver who walked into supermarkets with a fistful of coupons and walked out with $400 worth of groceries, and the stores paid her, or as your mortgage banker. Jan brings all of these skills to bring your transaction to the closing table on time. Jan has commitment, determination, integrity, and a positive attitude to make your home finance experience a great one. Jan Leisure, Diamond Residential Mortgage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Libertyville. I have the distinct honor to sit with my buddy Brian Grano today. Brian, how are you, buddy?
Honor. That's a good one. Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me on.
This is the first time I haven't seen you in a bar, I think.
Yeah, first time you haven't seen me. You've seen me sober probably then, too.
Right, exactly.
What is it? It's morning time here.
Well, I'm not sure that I'm completely sober yet, so
okay.
We can,
yeah.
But just still working.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
All right, so this is one of our first episodes for Discovering Libertyville, and I'm excited because you're one of the first people that came to mind, because when I think of Libertyville, of course, I think of Finn's, and you and I have had a relationship, for a long time from different locations. So
yeah, not sexual.
No, not yet anyway. But I'm working my way into that.
I'm willing to learn.
Right, you married the hard way today. So where did you grow up, first of all?
So I grew up in Edgebrook, Sauganash, which is it's actually part of Chicago. It's a far, far north side. I used to always say I could throw a wiffle ball into Niles. It was in my backyard, but Skokie is right there, Lincolnwood is right there, and Niles is right there.
Yeah, I get confused when you get over there. Yeah, I never know what town I'm in.
Yeah, it's like the two exit on the Edens when you're heading down to the city.
Right.
So I grew up there, went to St. Mary of the Woods, Loyola Academy for high school. It was a great place to grow up. Yeah. Although they didn't have a lot of bars and restaurants. It was dry. Like, we were in Chicago, but it was a dry town.
That's a terrible place to live.
That's a terrible idea, too, right?
Yes. Somebody needs to change that if it
I think it has changed, but it's still not like Libertyville,
right.
Where you can't walk 20 feet without hitting a bar or restaurant in downtown.
Absolutely. How many bars are there in Libertyville? Do you know?
Got to be. Well, restaurants that also serve alcohol, it's got to be 15 or more.
Wow.
Yeah.
In a very, very small area.
Yeah, 3-block radius.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good place to go. And
it's kind of a paradise, really.
Right. It's the Libertyville paradise. Just walk around a little bit. Okay, so how do you get from there? Because now where do you reside?
I'm in Libertyville.
You're in Libertyville. How long have you been in Libertyville?
Since 1999.
99.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first, you getting into owning a bar, how does that happen? What's your background that you actually get into that?
So, in 99, when I moved to Libertyville, I bought a house that was a 1-minute walk from Mickey Finn's, the original location,
right,
at 412 North Milwaukee. So, obviously I was there all the time. And I had a business, worked out of an office, sales, metals business. And since I was independent, I had probably more time than people that had to go into an office every day. And I met some people that were on the Main Street Libertyville board, and from the bar. we'd have beers and whatever. And they asked me if I would be interested in volunteering to be on a committee, an economic development committee. And I love Libertyville. That's why we moved there. I'm like, yeah, anything I can do to help. And we started going to committee meetings and met bankers and some accountants and some village trustees. So just got to meet the people that really kind of run the town.
Right.
And I also got to meet Bill Sugars, who was the owner of Mickey Finn's. And Bill was very involved with Main Street, gave a lot back to the community. So he and I kind of developed a rapport, a relationship. And I know that his partner had passed away a year earlier in 2002, I think.
Okay.
And I heard rumblings that he was looking to get out of the business. And at the time I was 37, and I was looking for kind of a change. Not to give up my other business completely, but to try a new opportunity.
Right.
And what red-blooded American guy wouldn't want to own a bar with TVs that had live music and beer and was in the center of town and
Right.
was big enough to actually make a difference. It wasn't a corner bar. I mean, there's a lot going on. It still is. And so Bill and I got to know each other, and we'd have beers and we'd play golf. And I kind of danced around the subject with him. And one day he finally said, "Brian, when are you going to ask me? When are you going to ask me what I want for my business?"
Because he knew that you were coming.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and it took about 6 months to put the deal together, and we closed in June of 2004. So it'll be 20 years for me in June.
Wow.
Yeah, and 30 years, a 30-year anniversary for Mickey Finn's.
So Finn's 30th anniversary and your 20th
Yep.
for being in there.
Yeah.
Okay, restaurant experience, bar experience before that
No,
for you?
I didn't have any.
What a,
I didn't have any.
what a great
I was a
business
short
man.
order cook in my fraternity in college.
That's training of sorts.
I made scrambled eggs and omelets in the morning for hungover guys. And I worked in a beef stand in Park Ridge when I was in high school in the early 80s, the Plush Pup. It's still there in Park Ridge. It was a different location, but
That's fun. So that was your formal training.
Yeah.
To own a restaurant
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah,
So,
and informal training, I guess.
and you spent a lot of time at bars and you drank there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
damn
half of
right.
it. That's my B&I group. That's the most networking I do.
Yeah.
Is networking. That's what pubs are for, I think.
Yeah. Well, what I always said was, people know good food from bad food. They know good service from bad service, and they know good atmosphere from bad atmosphere. So if you could provide those three, you don't have to be a genius to do that. You can have a successful restaurant. Oh, and then spend less money than you make.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure that part out.
Right,
We could talk off.
It can be tough sometimes.
Right.
It can be tough sometimes.
Exactly. So did you have to dump a bunch of money in? There's a lot of changes you wanted to make?
The one big change I made, and I like it over the years, yeah. I mean, ridiculous. But
Right.
the one thing I did when we got in was we replaced all the TVs with flat screens. And there were no flat screens anywhere at the time.
Really?
Like everyone still had the big, giant square tube TVs.
Yes.
So they were a fortune, but it made such a huge impact for us because nobody had flat screen TVs at home unless you were a millionaire.
Right.
That it really turned Finn's into not a sports bar, but a place that was really great to watch sports.
Right.
And that was probably the biggest thing. So that added something that we didn't have before. And then the next thing we did was you remember the little second floor at Old Finn's? It was kind of decorated like your uncle's basement from 1985. Like everything was like that bright yellow oak wood and tartan green carpeting and green lighting fixtures. And so we gutted that and kind of turned it into a lounge and then built the stage and then started to do consistently live music every Friday and Saturday night, which we've been doing for 19 years now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and way back in the day, listen to me.
You're 100.
Right, exactly. Physically, I'm 100. And mentally, like 12. So, but we did some 80s nights up there, too.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was fun.
Yeah. We tried a lot of different things and just tried to be consistent with it. Because really, the town is great, all kinds of restaurants, but really after 10 o'clock, there's not much to do in town. So we offered some late night entertainment and a reason to go out or stay out late, go out to dinner somewhere, and then come to Finn's after 10 o'clock. And we don't stay open late. We're done by 12 or 12:30, and luckily we've got downings and the island to keep things rolling late night for people who want to do that. Yeah.
Right, which a lot of good conversations happen there too.
Yeah, for sure. They're great places.
As far as I know people are always especially looking for live music, so to be consistent with that. When people know what to expect, has to be it's a really good business model to do that, so people know what to expect, that you're going to have live music on those nights.
Yeah, and you kind of go through some tough times where it doesn't do that great, but you keep moving forward. And now I know the bands that are good, consistent. I know they show up. People like them. They're easy to deal with. Like when I see a rider from a band, I'm like, we're not a rider place. There's no green room. I'm not getting a charcuterie plate for you. I'm not putting a case of Diet Coke and water. It's just
right.
Guys that want to play for a couple hours, and we'll pay them, and we'll have a good time. And
that's why we can't have like bougie Ike Riley there too. You know, he always needs a green room or something.
Oh yeah, he's big time.
He's big time bougie.
He's big time. But people don't know there's a big investment in live music. I mean, the sound guys, and we've got two great sound guys that both been with me forever. You're constantly upgrading the sound equipment, the boards, the technology. You need security, lighting, and I think people see how they'll drive by it on a Friday night and they'll see how busy we are. And then all of a sudden, another restaurant will be like, all of a sudden we're doing live music. But, you know, they don't have a stage or lights. And
right.
I think it's instantly going to bring them extra business. And it just, unfortunately, doesn't work like that.
No.
It really can't be a one-off.
No. And it's a huge investment to do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
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 And I'm listening to you talk about all these things that you have to do to have live bands there and what it takes to actually run your place. You have that to worry about, but you even talk about like restaurant. Like having the restaurant, the servers, the bar, everything.
Well, we're blessed. I mean, my management staff is great. You know, some of those guys have been there. My GM has been there longer than me, and I've been there 20 years, and he's younger than me.
Really?
So we've got a lot of longevity in our staff, especially our key staff. Our event manager, Kristen. You know, Pancho, our chef's been there over 30 years.
Really?
You know, my GM, Sean's been there for 20 plus years. Evan, our PM manager's been there close to 10 years.
Wow.
And our brewer, although he's only been there 5 years, is from Libertyville. So it's like he's been there forever.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm blessed that I can, like, just kind of stir the drink.
Right.
You know, and let those guys kind of run the day-to-day.
So when you bought the place, was the brewery there?
Yeah.
Because it was already brewed.
Yeah. Literally, I think it was the third microbrewery built in Illinois.
Wow, you guys are ahead of your time there.
Yeah, no, it was Goose Island first, and then I can't recall the name. They're no longer around, and then it was Finn's.
Wow.
And then literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other breweries since then.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm not like a craft beer guy or anything.
No, I mean literally every town has a brewery now,
right.
And I mean Mudline has 3 now.
Do they really?
Yeah, they got Basaki's and Tonality, which just opened, and of course Tighthead.
Wow. Apparently I don't get out much. Because I spend my time in Libertyville.
Right.
That's right. So why do I need to go any further than that? All right. So I want to talk about the transition from that location to the location you're at now. So what year was that when you?
So we came out of the Great Recession. We weren't even really out of it yet. So it was like 2009, 10. Everybody was struggling. All businesses were struggling. And the building next to us was Arden's Furniture. And they closed / sold that building to another restaurant owner in town. And at the time, he had planned on building like a steakhouse. And he also owned our parking lot. So if you remember Old Finn's, we only had 38 spots, and the restaurant could hold 350 people.
Right.
And he came to me and said, Brian, I'm going to do this. I just want to give you a heads up that you're not going to have any parking. So now, I mean, it's fine if you live downtown and you've got a place like that. We don't have the density to have a restaurant that size and not have any parking whatsoever. So I had some other issues with the building, and that, you know, was built in I think it was built in 1895.
Oh, wow.
The old part, not the addition.
Right.
But the old part was built in 1895, and it needed all kinds of upgrades. And I was sitting at a triple net lease, which meant all the expenses were on me. And we're coming out of this really lousy, shitty economy,
right.
So I didn't have money to do that. So I'm like, I think I got to move. So we started looking at other locations. We were looking at Lake Zurich. We were looking at Vernon Hills. We were looking at Gurney. And a friend of mine, who's been my broker ever since, said, what about the building at 345? I go, what building? He's like, it's literally right across the street.
Right.
I couldn't even picture it. It was like tucked away. It had like white stucco peeling. It had a green awning that was kind of tattered. It had two storefronts. You would really literally drive by it and not notice it.
Really?
At the time, there was the State Farm office to the south, and there was where Conscious Cup is now is an ice cream place. And I'm like, there's a building in between those two? He's like, well, let's walk through it. It's been for sale for a couple years. It was owned by Condell, and when Condell got bought out by Advocate, they didn't need the office space anymore.
Interesting.
So the only active business in there was Edward Jones, Bob Schecter's Edward Jones. So out of this 27,000 square foot building, you've got 900 with Edward Jones on the storefront facing Milwaukee. So we walk through, and it looks like an office. There's cubicles and drywall and drop ceiling, and I mean nothing special. And as we walked out to the back, to the west, that's where it had the open ceiling that's still there today. It was our storage. And I'm like, whoa, that's really cool with those big truss and arches.
Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't that be cool if it ran the whole length of the building? And Tim Hart, my broker, said, well, let's go check. So we went back in the office, stood on a desk, moved the ceiling tile, and we're like, holy shit, this is like,
there it is.
We could open this whole thing up. And like literally, and we had great architects with Black and Black, but the building design itself, it's like long bar, kitchen over here, awesome. The warehouse would be the banquet space, which was big and square, which we could do bigger parties.
Yeah.
And the back would be the brewery, which would be 2.5 times the size of what we had now, with storage space and with office. So
there it is.
We made an offer and didn't get it. It went under contract with somebody else.
Really?
And 4 months go by, and they never closed. And we made another offer and didn't get it. So what people were doing is they were putting a contract down on it, and they were trying to find tenants to fill it.
Gotcha.
So I kind of been talking to some people already, and I had some tenants interested. So the third time it came available, with the help of Terry Wepler, who was mayor at the time, he reached out to Condell and said, hey, look, this is going to close. This guy can fill the space. I mean, it had to be retail, and how many places can fill 15,000 square feet?
Absolutely.
And he's got a couple tenants for the other side. So we got the deal done in early 2012, and in 2014 we opened up.
Wow, I can't imagine, because it must be like you're excited about it. You want to do it. You get shut down twice, and you know you want to move.
Yeah.
Like mentally, that must have been like.
Well, and then because I was getting closer and closer to the end of my lease, so if my landlord would have found another tenant, I would have been out of luck. But again, it wasn't that easy to find a tenant for a restaurant that size.
Right.
But ultimately, he found a tenant that was very similar to what we were doing.
Very similar. Right?
Yeah. So it worked out for everybody.
So timing-wise, it worked out for everybody.
Timing-wise, it worked out for everybody, yeah.
It's kind of funny how things like that work. It's like you're disappointed, but then at the end of the day, everybody wins.
Well, it's like, I think about it now, like it was meant to be.
Right. You
know, like everything happened and kind of fell into place at the last second. And then, owning the building has been great. Yes. And like going into COVID, as an owner and not a renter was a game changer. We had so many more breaks than everybody else from the banks and the government, and
because you own the building.
Because we own the building, which is how we survived.
Wow.
I don't think we would have made it without that.
That's crazy. I hate saying the C word on here, but it has shaped everything and changed everything.
Everything's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's different.
Okay, so were you building that place out and getting it ready while you still had the old location? So you didn't have downtime, did you? Like a bunch of downtime?
We were down 10 days.
10 days.
That's it.
Oh my God, that's like a freaking miracle.
Yeah, I think our last day was like April 12th or whatever, and we opened up on April 25th or 27th.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it was like, how'd you do that? I'm like, because I had no money left. We had to open.
Right. Because every day you're closed, you're not making any money, you're spending it.
It cost me my hair, and it cost me all my money.
Right. Which kind of go together.
Yeah, but right from the get-go, I mean, the day we opened it, it was insane.
That's great. So it was received extremely well, obviously.
And I was so worried because it was so different,
A lot different.
It wasn't a pubby, small, contained, cute, cozy. It was, big and open, but that's what the building was. And we weren't going to change the building. No. We just kind of went with it. And I think people initially were just, kind of, I don't know if shocked, put off, but it was just so different. And now it was like, I can't even imagine this,
Right. Can't imagine any different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clientele change at all? Or you got the same people?
No, I don't think so. I always describe Fens as kind of like Wrigley Field. it's all like all ages are welcome, but they're not necessarily all there at the same time.
Right.
You know, like our older clientele, they come in on the weekends and in the afternoon, maybe have an early dinner before it gets loud. And then you've got kind of the late night crowd for bands and just people who like to stay out later, which tends to skew younger as a general rule.
Right.
And then we're super family friendly, you know, so like you can come in there on a Saturday and the kids will be playing video games in back and the parents will be in the booth and people will be watching the games. So it kind of all somehow manages to work.
Yeah, no, that's great. And now with your event space that you have, that you can do weddings and parties and everything there. I mean, that's a game changer also.
That was strong before, but we got to a new level when we moved, just because the space was so much bigger,
right,
and laid out better, and we could divide it in half. And now we can do weddings. We couldn't really do weddings in the old spot,
right.
And it's been fun.
Wow, and you're still doing so. It's funny because every time I talk about Mickey Finn's, I get your upstairs at the old place. Like I always think when I go up the stairs to go to the restroom or whatever, there I'm like, oh, doesn't this go up? No.
I know people still think it's events upstairs. I'm like, there's no bathrooms upstairs.
Right.
Everything's on one level.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You walk and you have the events. So has the event space done pretty well for you?
Oh yeah, it's a huge part of the business. That's what killed us during COVID, because we couldn't have any parties.
Yeah.
Like people were great about supporting the takeout, and when we were allowed to have people come in, you know, we had the big outdoor area, so we could open the doors, and we could seat 80 people during COVID because of the open air policy.
Right. And with that open spot that you have there, the outdoor, was that planned to be that? Was it always that way? Because I don't remember it until like.
Well, yes, but it took 6 months before we got that opened. After we opened, so what that was is. It was adjacent to the parking lot, of which is now Conscious Cup, that building on the corner.
Right.
And it was 9 parking spaces. And there were ours, but I'm like, 9 spaces? What? That's a deck chair off the side of the Titanic. So that's when we decided to gut that and make that the beer garden.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great. Because you guys have so many different things. And for every season, too.
Right.
So it's not like you're a seasonal place. You can open that back up. And
yeah, well, we have the half of it's heated, so we open that all year round.
Wow. And that's 80 more people?
That's probably 65.
65.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's been no, I'm sure bouncing back from COVID, I know that everybody's excited to get back out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny to see how things change, how people are like hibernated. And then once, you know, the news that you guys will be open, or you can have the open air seating or everything.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. But then when we fully got to open up everything, then the problem was staff. You couldn't get staff.
Yeah.
And I just remember like closing off certain sections, going you can sit there, but there's nobody to.
Right. Well, you're going into a place and going to eat, and I don't think people understood. Well, it's going to be a 45-minute wait.
Yeah.
Wait, but you have all this open over here.
And people were pretty understanding for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then they expect you to be hitting on all cylinders.
Right.
So, but, you know.
How many things were learned out of that? Like, it's amazing that if you can go, it's like bulletproof. If you get through that, like I never want to say, what else can you throw at us? But it's one of those things.
Well, yeah, and, did you hear the story about the car driving through the kitchen this summer?
No.
So, yeah. So, Libertyville has a classic car night.
Right.
I think it's the third Wednesday of the month, May through September.
Right, which is an awesome night.
Yeah, so literally the last one, and this is Wednesday, and we've got our USO fundraiser out back on Thursday night, and we've got Oktoberfest on Friday and Saturday, and then we had a homebrewer event on Sunday, all outside. So huge weekend, huge week. We had $40,000 worth of parties booked. The guy booked the Buckinghams to come in.
What?
Play on Wednesday night. This businessman from Libertyville. So I met the guys. They were great. At 7:30 that night, a guy goes to start his car, and the accelerator sticks.
Oh God!
And it was an Excalibur replica. So it had a Corvette engine in there, and he didn't know what to do. If he goes down Church, he's gonna run into people or cars.
Right.
If he gets on Milwaukee, God only knows. He sees that our alley, which is kind of right in between Byline Bank and Sugarville, and I think he hopes that he's got time to stop.
Right.
And the car keeps accelerating down the alley, Corvette engine, and hits our side of our kitchen at 50 plus miles an hour.
Holy shit.
And obliterates the gas meter for the entire building. So you've got a 2.5-inch gas main just pumping natural gas. You can hear it from blocks away. So the police and fire department cordoned off 2 blocks. People couldn't even get in their cars because they were worried if they started the ignition. Sure. Long story short, nobody got hurt. The kitchen got repaired. We were closed 6 days, but still had our outdoor festivals. Right. The village helped us execute that. And, eventually we got everything fixed, and we eventually got our insurance money. It's just like another thing, Yeah. You can't shock me anymore, Dave. I know. You can't shock me anymore.
Not. It's crazy, especially with the weather. And last week we had to cancel because of our, freezing weather. And there's so many things that go into it.
Yeah.
And I think that people, especially that haven't been in a business like yours, like you say, nothing can shock me. No. There's shit that goes wrong all the time.
Seen it all. Especially with security cameras. I've seen everything.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, tell me something great you've seen on a security camera.
Oh, most of it is blue. Most of it is R-rated.
Or X-rated?
X-rated, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Now, do you save those tapes?
No.
There's no blackmail involved in there?
No, we don't save those tapes.
Right, honestly. I would not save them as well.
No, but we had an incident during the summer of BLM where we were targeted. And so our place was vandalized.
How do you get targeted?
Because I was pro-police,
Right. Shame on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, the long and short of it was a hashtag that I put out with a picture of the police that I purchased. Like during COVID, we were buying lunches for the police department, the fire department, especially Condell, multiple, things, deliveries over there. And I would always just take a picture and then put a hashtag and,
somebody didn't like it.
I didn't think, hashtag all lives matter, hashtag police lives matter was going to be that controversial, but it went viral and we got a lot of hate, vandalized. I mean, I was getting Yelp reviews every second because I get a ding. I might get 5 Yelp reviews a month now.
Right.
It was going ding, ding, 0 stars, 0 stars, 0 stars, 0 racist establishment, blah, blah, blah. And but the camera caught a lot of that.
Yeah.
Which was we're eventually able to apprehend the perps in that case.
Wow. Who would think? And that's what I shake my head because I'm old school. I'm like, what kind of world do we live in? This how we're raising our kids? That
crazy.
We get that going. It seems like, especially Libertyville, because of, and you talk so highly about everybody, it really is a town where people help each other out. It's a great community and see people come together. If somebody needs something, somebody's always willing to help.
Oh, Libertyville's unbelievable. It really, I've lived a lot of places. I've never seen any place like that. It's special.
Yeah.
It is.
And it also seems that with very, with that many restaurants, with that many establishments to drink at, it all works. It's not like, it seems like everybody's doing well. And everybody in the town supports everybody.
Yeah, that's true 100%. And I don't look at any other restaurant in Libertyville as competition. We're all on the same page.
This is awesome.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Or as my buddy Ty Cotter says, unless you don't have a boat. But a rising tide.
I'm going to use that.
A rising tide lifts all boats. So all the restaurants support each other. We're all on text chains if stuff's going on. But I do believe, Libertyville needs more density. When you see what's going on building-wise in Mundelein and Vernon Hills, we need some of that, and we need some fresh blood in Libertyville. You can't stay kind of stuck in the 1800s architecturally forever. There's got to be some kind of progression in that. And we have some really great opportunities to do that with, where the train station is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of acreage back there that could really benefit from a mixed development.
Right.
Retail, commercial, more. Every place needs more residential. Every place needs more condos. Every place needs more apartments. There's just not enough place for people to live. There's been no building for years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how that changes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I do think it will. It never happens as fast as you want. I know the theater's been shut down for years and years, and it looks like now there might be a pretty viable project coming there.
That would be awesome.
And then you've got that big space, I don't know how many acres, 800 acres that the county owns just south of Winchester there.
Right.
Or north of Winchester. And that'll eventually be some kind of development.
Right. It seems like the downtown will just kind of grow. It just keep going down.
Yeah. You need foot traffic in downtowns.
Absolutely.
And especially when you have towns around you that are getting bigger and bigger, those people come to Libertyville less because there's more in their town.
Right. And it seems like there are a lot of locals that go to all these establishments in Libertyville, but you guys also have a big draw from other towns.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And we are a destination, but as those other towns get built up, hey, it's human nature. If you don't have to drive somewhere,
Amen.
You won't.
Right. Amen. Yeah, if you can walk to your favorite restaurant and walk to pubs and walk whatever and go shopping and do whatever you need, you can get everything you need.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to pause for a second because we do something during the show and we call it the Libertyville Hot Seat. So I have some rapid fire questions. We'll kind of learn a little bit more about you.
Wait, what were all these?
But these
I already thought I was on the hot seat.
These are just warm-ups.
Warm-ups. I should be warmed up then.
See, and Brian knows me well enough to know that the fact that I haven't been swearing enough is probably a shock too. So, but it's early in the morning.
Yeah.
I usually wait till after 10.
Well, it's not over yet.
Right. We're just getting warmed up. All right. So Libertyville Hot Seat with Brian Grano. If you had to have one superpower, what would it be?
Fly.
Why?
I think it'd be great to fly.
Just fun.
I'm jealous of birds. Look at that. It's awesome.
Tell me a place you'd like to travel that you've never been.
I haven't been to Italy.
No?
Yeah, and I'll get there someday.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to just go there this past summer, and I would
Jealous.
highly recommend it. Yeah, it was good. Wine's terrible, food's terrible.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
weather's awful.
It's completely, and there's nobody there visiting either. Who's the funniest person that you know?
You like comedian or like
just person you know? A
normal funny somebody just cracks me up.
Yeah.
Let's come back to that one.
Okay. What was your first car?
My first car was a 1988 Acura Integra, fire engine, red, 5-speed.
Nice. Did that car have a nickname?
Red.
Red.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love that car. I only had it for like a year because I ended up getting a company car for my business.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to sell it. I was going to have 2 cars when I was 23 years old.
Right. Well, no, that's good that you can start that way, though. That you have the opportunity to have 2 cars. Those are real world problems, man.
Yeah.
Real world problems. Would the 12-year-old version of yourself think you're cool?
Very cool.
Awesome.
Rockstar cool.
All right. See? I love it. Do you have a nickname?
BG, Beej.
What do you wish you learned sooner?
Wish I learned to save money sooner.
Yeah.
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 But it's never too late. But I wish I started sooner.
I'm right with you on that one. What was the name of your first pet?
Jingles.
Jingles. And then what was the street you grew up on?
Lunt.
So Jingles Lunt is your adult film star name.
Jingles
So
Lunt.
now you might...
Rhymes with.
We could go a lot of different ways. We said that we weren't saying the C word on anywhere, but we're close.
The L word, Lunt.
We're close. Have you ever ate a roller dog from a gas station?
No.
Gosh, people got to get with the program, man.
So gross.
So
I worked in a hot dog stand that had premium Chicago-style dogs. I cannot lower myself to a roller dog.
What about like a taquito or something on there? That would be
No.
okay. No? All right. Well, we can change it. I'm going to make a food delivery to you. Actually, I'm going to just buy a roller dog station and put it in the studio.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. What's your middle name?
Joseph.
Joseph. You ever broken a bone?
Nope.
Really? You're good. If you had to have a theme party at your house, what would the theme party be?
Theme party at the house. Oh, I'm a child of the 80s, so probably some kind of 80s party.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing DJing an 80s prom soon, and can you get better than that?
No.
It's awesome. 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
9.
All right. You're just exuding confidence. I love it. Did you play a sport in high school?
I wrestled my senior year, and I was 3 and 14.
All right, so you're really good.
And that was JV.
JV, almost champion at the 3 and.
I had to play a sport. I didn't play anything, and I'm like, I got to do something.
Right.
And they were literally pulling people off the street to try to fill the wrestling team.
Really.
So I thought it'd be a good way to get in shape, and I was just terrible.
Nice. I want to see the 3 guys that you beat. I don't even know what they're bragging about today. Your favorite Libertyville event?
I love the Libertyville Days Parade. That is so much fun.
Yeah.
The whole town comes out. That'd be a tough one to beat. I mean, St. Patrick's Day is super fun in Libertyville.
Right.
But, I mean, that's kind of more Mickey Finn's / yeah, I would say the parade.
Nice. And it's so fun to watch community come out and just from the little kids to the old buggers to
it's insane.
everybody just
it's
get
5
together.
people deep on the sidewalks. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And they do a hell of a job putting that together.
Yes, they do.
I know I've tried to get into that parade before. And
a great cause. The money goes to the senior center, the civic center.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it's a fundraiser, essentially. Not a lot of people know that.
I did not know
Yep.
that. Wow. Very cool.
Yep.
When you eat tacos, do you tilt your head to the right or the left?
I go left.
Left. You're the first person I've asked that question to that actually didn't tilt their head. You just knew.
I did a micro tilt. I did a micro tilt.
If you had to bring somebody that's never been to Libertyville, like somebody that's just a famous person or something you brought to Libertyville, where would you, besides Finn's, where would you bring them to show how cool your town is?
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Designed that way.
Yeah. I can't really pick a favorite. There's so many of the restaurants that are so cool and so eclectic.
Yeah.
I think we'd just, I'm taking an easy out here, but
yeah.
I'd probably just walk them around and we'd stop at a half dozen places.
Yeah. Just say, do the walk. Do
the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. This is my favorite one. How many days in a row can you wear the same pair of jeans without washing them?
Oh, God, I just said this to Jed. I think I've had these jeans on 7 days in a row.
I think I'm on 6 on these I'm wearing.
So I'm going to go, I don't think I've ever gone 8, but they just get softer and more comfortable.
I think the rule of thumb should be, like, once they're loose and you have to tighten your belt more, or if you have to wear a belt, then it's time to wash them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, bartender, can I have a...
Hey, bartender, can I have a shot of Casamigos?
All right, nice. We should have done a couple of those before we started. Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I know.
There are so many, but I would say that I'll be just because I watch it every year at the same time. It's got to be It's a Wonderful Life. It reminds me a lot of Libertyville.
Yeah.
And there's no better message than how one person can affect other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the way you tied that back in, by the way. It's nice. I like that. Have you ever won an award?
Yeah, I've won some civic awards and business-related awards through the town and Lake County, which is very generous of them.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Not a wrestling award, though.
No.
No. At least if I get in a fight and I know who to wrestle, I'm wrestling you.
I don't even think they really wanted to give me my letter. I think I was out of pity that they gave me the letter at Loyola.
That's awesome. How many days a week do you exercise?
4.
Nice. What makes you sweaty?
The sauna.
And we're going to end with this one. Right. Or maybe one more, but tell me about the second time you got arrested.
I've never been arrested.
I'm just waiting for somebody to answer. And actually be like, no, that was the third time. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Well, last thing you bought on Amazon.
St. Patrick's Day decorations. I'm already planning for that.
So something business related you bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm sure that's a big to-do also. And tell me one celebrity you've met.
One celebrity I've met. I met Mark Grace in the bathroom at Bub City when he was out in the Cubs.
Nice.
I remember that. I've met Dick Butkus, Coach Ditka.
Yeah.
A lot of Bears, just being in town.
Right. And it's cool because they hang around, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Like no actors, though. I think I ran into Andy Garcia in an airport, like American Express.
The American Express Lounge, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't bother him, though.
No.
Loved him in The Untouchables.
Absolutely.
Loved him in The Untouchables.
And your hat you could wear in The Untouchables, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best movies ever, too.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to... I'd never do blank again. I'm good. You're good.
Yeah.
Good. I like no regrets.
Nope.
Because a lot of the mistakes we make and everything actually just propel us forward.
Oh, for sure.
To learn everything
100%.
we possibly can.
Experience is the best teacher, Dave.
Yes, and I have a lot of experience. So yes, I'm not that smart, but it works well that way. Okay, I want to talk about Santa's magic.
Okay.
Because like putting that together, because that's a big like thing. You hear people like all around like I'm going to Finn's because I got to get my Santa's magic.
Yeah.
Got to get it for Christmas. Is that something that you came up with your brewery?
No, that goes back to I don't think it was the first or second year of the brewery, but I think Ryan Ashley, one of the first brewers, kind of developed that. So it's, no one really invents these things, right? It's a style. Right. So it's a Belgian strong ale. So it's a little higher in alcohol. It's a little sweet because we add some Belgian sugar candy to it. And then, the hops and malt just kind of give it that kind of characteristic. And it's just one of those things where it does kind of have a Christmas spice to it. Mm-hmm. And it's served in a really cool glass, and it's got a cool logo, and it's about Santa, and it's about the holidays, it's about Christmas and family.
It's great marketing.
And it's only on tap for 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Right.
And I think there's a magic that is kind of there because of that at the time of year. And it is kind of a fun buzz. I don't know.
I've had people say it's a different buzz.
It is. And, which isn't unusual. Like, tequila's a different buzz from beer, from red wine. And that's just, I think people like how it makes them feel. And I do think it's the time of year. I think it all kind of goes into the experience.
Right.
And yeah, it gets bigger and bigger every year.
It's amazing.
And people are crazy. I wish I had 5 more like that.
Right. You go like St. Patrick's Day magic.
Right.
Valentine's Day magic.
Right. It's like a hit record. How do we get that hit? How do we make another hit record?
You gotta do that, yeah. And you can't serve it all year round because then it loses the magic.
Totally. And we've done it. We've done like Christmas in July, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. We have a couple that I think people really go nuts for. Our Pineapple Express, which is on tap most of the year. Can I Kick It, which is a hazy IPA. Really special beers that Jason does a great job with. Moon Rocks, Darkened Down, which he's won awards for. But yeah, that one is.
Yeah, and it's fun. And
that's our thriller. That's our hysteria.
Which is great. So the first day that comes out when it's available is the first day really big where people come in and you got to be prepared for.
Yeah. So what we do now is we can it and we release the cans a couple days before Thanksgiving because everybody kind of wants it for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And we're all like, nope, you can't get it till the Friday after. And I'm thinking, it's kind of silly, right? Why don't we just not put it on tap until Friday? But if people want to have it for their parties,
right?
So we released that on Tuesday, and we sold. It's crazy.
Wow.
The numbers.
I didn't even know that I can go in there and get it in cans, and
so cans sold out a couple days after Christmas Eve, and. I think we have a little bit on tap, but I think it comes to an end this weekend. But I shouldn't say that because I don't even know when this podcast is going to come out. So disregard everything I said.
Exactly. So I should say we're not going to do anything timely on here, but Christmas.
It's usually gone by New Year's as a general rule. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think people will be listening to this in March, and then and then it's there forever.
Right.
So they can listen to it every year.
Or we'll just cut it out. Or we'll just edit it out.
We'll just edit it out as we go. We'll just switch things around, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for how long do you think that you can? I mean, does this take a toll on you, running everything you're doing? Because you're busy, man.
Yeah, I would say that coming out of COVID, I kind of felt like I was done.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like let's get it back to normal, and then maybe it's time for the next 38-year-old Brian to take over, younger, more energetic. But honestly, this last year has been great.
Yeah.
My staff has been great, and I've been gone more than I've ever been gone, and everything seems to be running fine.
Right.
And so, I don't know, maybe it can go on much longer than I thought.
Hey, the more hands-off you can be and have other people do it, and with great management, with great staff,
right.
You have the opportunity to actually go on vacations. You have time to go to Italy.
Oh, we travel all the time.
Yeah. I see that all the time. I'm like, that's good that you get to do stuff.
Yeah.
So your next trip will be to Italy, though.
Our next trip is to Florida for a month.
Oh, for a month?
Yeah.
Well, that's
we leave next week, yeah.
Awesome.
Working remote. Not vacation, working remote.
Yeah, so for the next month you'll be working remote.
Yeah, we just wanted to get out of this weather. Get out of February, it's bleak.
Amen to that. What's your slowest season? Is it your slowest season coming up right now?
February.
Yeah, February.
Right. Short, dark.
Yeah.
Bleak.
And then, so when do things pick up?
It kind of starts picking up right at the beginning of March.
Yeah.
And then, we hit St. Patrick's Day, and then it just keeps rolling.
Right.
We're busy in the summer. We're blessed to be busy in the summer. Fall is great with football, and all the kids are back. And then Halloween, Thanksgiving, December.
Everything works.
Yeah.
So you just have a little lull during February.
Yeah. It's like a 5-week lull.
Yeah. I think everybody's out of money, too.
What do I always say? By February, people get all their bills from Christmas, and they're broke, fat, exhausted. Nobody wants to leave. Like a couple weeks ago, it was 0 degrees. Nobody wants to leave their house.
No.
It's brutal.
I think I was at Finn's one of the coldest days, too, just because I wanted to get out.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be stuck in my house anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
well, we appreciate that.
You shouldn't drive. You should be inside. You should, bunker down for whatever. And that's usually my key that, hey, nothing's going to be crowded. And good.
That's an advantage. Yeah.
I love it. It's
yeah.
Good. I like the way that you've done stuff where when you talk about, being family friendly, and I see how you do stuff because you guys do karaoke nights.
Mm-hmm.
You have your live bands. It's really cool to see, and a lot of the Saturday nights and stuff, whether you have DJ music or whatever's going on, you bring in a younger crowd.
Yeah. So you were one of the first DJs that we had, and that kind of started a nice mix, and now we do a DJ the first Friday of every month, and it's just something a little bit different for people who want that.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that the oons?
That's DJ Silk, Spencer Duffy, good buddy of mine.
Yeah.
He works on the naval base, and no, he plays with the crowd. He's like, whoever comes, he goes, that's why you don't have a mixtape. You can't.
Absolutely not. People say, oh, you have your set list. Yeah, I look and I go, okay, these guys seem like they're 35, and there's 40-year-olds here, and there's a
bachelorette party walks in, or it's all dudes.
Everything changes.
Yeah,
right.
And he's great with that, so I think that's super cool.
No, that is awesome. There's so many funny questions that I have because I know that you've seen all of this stuff, and I've got the pleasure to talk with other bar owners, and what you guys do and what you bring to the community is a huge thing because you guys are a staple in Libertyville, for sure. And with that comes, responsibility and making sure that you're top notch on everything that you do. And I constantly see you. I love how you adapt and change, and there's always something fun going on, or you recognize a need for something, or you see it, and you go for it.
Yeah.
There's so many people that I think stand still, or they do the same thing all the time.
Well, I think it's twofold. One, I think it keeps it interesting for me and us. We're not doing the same thing,
right?
So it does. You don't really get stagnant. You're growing, and two, it's the community changes. The needs of the community change,
right?
And I think a lot of the restaurants in Libertyville feel that there's a community responsibility. They give, you give, they support you, you support them. And in good times, and in bad times, like during COVID, I was just blown away at the generosity of people. People just leaving money for my staff that was out of work for tips. And
really?
We would literally have this, I'd have this bag of, either cash or checks, and we would divide it up and I'd say, hey, there's an envelope here for you. And people would come and they go, what? I go, yeah.
And that's the community pulling together.
Yeah, or what we would do is if we were doing all the carry out, we might need for me and 3 other people.
Right. And
people would tip ridiculous. So we'd take all that money and put it in a pool and divide it up.
Which is nice.
And people would buy gift cards, and they're like, let me know when. It's still today people go, I can use my gift card that I bought. I'm like, of course, we're through it. Thank you. Use the gift cards, yes. Everybody. Come in and use them.
Right.
But that was just one example of so many stories of just crazy support that we get.
Yeah.
So in terms, we try to, flip it the other way. And we do it all the time.
Right. A couple of your favorite things about the community. I know we've talked a lot because you seem like you were involved when you were in before you bought Finn's, you were in the economic development stuff. Are you active in chambers or anything, or are you just too busy?
I'm on the Economic Development Commission now of the Village of Libertyville.
Okay.
And I'm also on the board of USO.
Gotcha. I know that you are you like to give back to the community and for different causes and things like that. So tell me some about like maybe one of your favorite fundraisers that you guys do or ways that you guys give back.
Well, I would say the most recent example would be the USO fundraiser. So this was year 2.
So anybody that doesn't know what USO is, what is USO?
It's United Service Organization.
Okay.
And what they do is they support the troops. So a lot of airports, you'll see they have a USO office. And think about this. So you've got an 18-year-old kid coming from this small town in nowhere USA. He gets shipped to Great Lakes for training.
Right.
He doesn't know anybody. He doesn't know anything really, except that getting out of his town, he's joining the military. He can't go to college. So the USO has, when they go to the airport, they can play video games. They can have a little concession stand. They'll feed him. There'll be a warm face to greet him and thank him. That's awesome. And then once they get to Great Lakes, there's actually a USO building there, and they can go anytime and get snacks, watch TV, play pool. They have live music there on the weekends. And what people don't realize, USO is not. It's all privately funded. It's not part of the government or the Army. So they work in conjunction with the armed services.
Okay.
So we're a fundraising arm for that, so they can support the troops. And I feel like, our military. I mean, there's no better cause, especially in this crazy world we live in.
Oh my God, and especially the way that you explain it, like these young kids that are coming and they're basically displaced from their family, from everybody, and then to have a connection with the community or something fun to do, they lose all of that.
That would be scary for us to do that. Imagine when you're 18 and you don't know anything.
Right.
And I think about that all, and I see these men and women, and they're so young.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I tip my hat to them because to serve like that is something that I never considered.
Yeah.
Maybe because it was just scary. But
yeah.
These guys are like, and gals. Like, yeah. It's amazing.
So we put this fundraiser together, started last year. It's part of the Oktoberfest weekend, so we're kind of spreading that infrastructure over 3 or 4 days now. And USO kicks it off. And Betty Soul played last year, and it's a free event, but we get sponsors and people can donate, and we've raised close to $40,000 in 2 years.
Holy cow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep rolling with that. And anybody who wants to help, feel free to reach out to me. It's near and dear cause to my heart.
Yeah, because that's what I always say. Like, if the community wants to get involved and it's not currently going on, they can talk to you and make donations or whatever they need to do.
Or be on the committee and help us plan next year's event, bigger and better, or plan another event that's something different.
Right. Yeah. And I think that people lose that fact, too, that sometimes better than writing a check is getting involved and volunteering to help put things like that together, because it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Like, I'm on the Oktoberfest committee, and that's a fundraiser for Main Street Libertyville and GMLV. Mickey Finn's doesn't make any money. We just provide the venue. And I've got an amazing committee, which is so helpful. I mean, I kind of do USO on my own, which is stressful. So, yeah, anybody wants to help.
Anybody wants to help, Brian?
Please
yes.
Reach out. Stop into Mickey Finn's. Find me.
That's awesome.
The answer will be yes.
Right. Well, no, that's cool. And what a great cause. So yeah. I always love to hear people that are giving back to the community or finding a cause like that, because there's so many people in need, and there's 1,000 different fundraisers they can do that seem kind of
100%. There's no bad causes, but this is one that's important to me, and I think it's a good fit for Mickey Finn's and for what I believe in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up here. Is there anything else that you want the town of Libertyville to know about Brian Grano?
You've changed my life, and for the better, and I'll be grateful forever for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great ride.
And keep on doing the great stuff you're doing, man.
I'll do it as long as I can.
As long as you can. When you're working remotely, I will be texting you.
You got it.
So just to make sure that you're on track and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Anytime, Dave. Anytime.
So everybody get out and support Mickey Finn. Support all of our local bars, restaurants, everywhere we can go. So Libertyville, thank you so much for listening. And just a reminder, whether you're listening to this on Spotify, whether you're on Apple, or even on YouTube, just make sure to subscribe so that way every week when a new episode comes out that you'll be alerted on your phone. So that way you don't have to bore yourself to go through our social media stuff. It'll just pop up, and there it'll be. And I do encourage everybody to listen to people that you may not know. It's fun to listen to a podcast with people you know, but the purpose of this show is to build community. So the more we know about people that are running small businesses in our community, I think it's really important to get to know them and support them as well. So once again, buddy, thank you so much.
Cheers to that. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, bud.